Hey guys, have you ever had a kidney stone? Right now I'm dealing with this kidney stone that I'm waiting to pass. I'm trying to do it on my own. It's a fairly big one, I'm told. And they've given me a couple of things to help the process along. One is something that is supposed to open things up so that things can pass through. Another is a painkiller. This painkiller, though, is a narcotic, and it has the ability to be addictive. The thing that worries me about this drug is that I'll become too addicted to this drug. I'll become too addicted thinking that I need this to kill all my pain. I know in the past I've done many messages about moving, not standing still, not sitting still, but actually moving. It's just been my heart, because the wilderness can be like that narcotic. It can be like that drug that is addictive. We can learn to make our home in the wilderness. We can learn to make do and settle in the wilderness. We can become complacent in the wilderness. But the fact is, we weren't meant to stay in the wilderness. The wilderness was simply a time of transition. It was a time of getting from point A to point B. And sometimes when we wait in the wilderness, we actually wait too long. We've overstayed our welcome. The fact is, the wilderness, when God was wanting to make us whole, the wilderness can chew us up into little pieces. So it has the opposite effect. The wilderness was not meant to be our home. It was just meant to be that transition place. It was just meant to be that time where God allowed us to grow. He did work in us to prepare us for our promised land. Now, some of us, we've gotten right outside the promised land and we've saw the giants. We've seen the giants. And we've been afraid and we've turned around. The wilderness was simply a time to help us grow so that when we saw the giants, we wouldn't be afraid. We would learn that if we move, if we face our giants, that God himself would fight those battles for us, but we have to be willing to move. That's been my whole point, is that the wilderness can't become like that narcotic. We can't be so addicted to the wilderness. Remember, Jesus was tempted in the wilderness. It was there that he was tempted, in that time of transition, in that time where he was fasting and praying, and God was with him. The Spirit, it says the Spirit led him into the wilderness, so the Spirit was with him. Unlike the Israelites, where many died in the wilderness because they were stiff-necked, because they were complacent, because they learned to settle in the wilderness. They learned to build their own God in the wilderness and worship their own God in the wilderness. That's not what this was for. The wilderness was simply a time of transition. So I encourage you, once again, move. Your time in the wilderness is limited. It's not forever, and it's not meant to be your home. The Bible says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. It didn't say, yea, though I exist and live in the valley of the shadow of death. It says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, a rod and thy staff, they comfort me. That is what this is meant. This wilderness is simply just a time for you to grow. It's that time that God has led you to and that he wants to lead you through. So don't stay in the wilderness. Don't make it your home. Don't let it be your narcotic, your drug, because you're not meant to stay here. God's got something so much better for you. And he's got something planned for you that is beyond this world. It is otherworldly. It is supernatural. It is spiritual. And it is holy and righteous and just. Move. I encourage you, move. God bless. I love you guys.